Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Darden, coming to you from Falmouth Area Sports Training. Today I wanted to talk about overhead lifts. So we're seeing a lot of guys and girls coming in, they want to do some overhead lifts. It's becoming part of a lot of weightlifting programs, which I think is a really great thing. But one thing that we see is people with improper joint mobility and stabilization trying to perform these lifts. So I just wanted to go over some of the mechanics involved with that. So I have with me here one of the guys that trains here, Sam, who went through a little bit of this and gaining some stabilization in his posterior chain before he was able to perform overhead lifts properly. So what happens with most people is the anterior chain internal rotation gets tight. Okay, so that subscapularis, pectoralis major, and lats can round the shoulders in. As you can even see his posture now, it's a little bit forward. The trouble with performing an overhead lift with a tight anterior chain is that the head doesn't get through the arms. The head has to get through the shoulder for it to work, or it can lead to lower back injury, and it can also promote further joint imbalance with the anterior chain getting tighter and the posterior chain getting longer and weaker. So a great tool to see if the candidate is qualified to perform an overhead lift is what we use, this anti-gravity test for glenohumeral flexion and abduction. So if you want to come around the side, we very simply just have him place his heels against the wall, his head against the walls, try to hold his shoulders against the walls, and he's going to bring his hands forward into flexion and try to get them as tight against the wall as he can. Try to get your hands all the way back as far as you can. So as you can see, his shoulders should be able to get to this full 180 degrees of flexion to perform an overhead lift, but actively his muscles are only allowing him to get this far. So with that, there's a number of different activities and exercises that we use to help, again, lengthen, you can put your arms down, his internal rotators, and help strengthen his scapular stabilization in the back. So with that, one of the very simple tests that we do, go ahead and lie down on the table, Sam. This is an internal rotation mobility activity. And go ahead and place your head to the side. You can hang your arm. Good. Where what he's going to do is keep his hand by his side, and ultimately he's supposed to be able to keep his elbow flat on the plinth. So he's going to raise his arm out to the side as high as he can. So what this is actively doing is drawing his shoulder up, stretching his internal rotators and pecs, and causing his scapula, his rhomboids, to retract his shoulder blade as he moves. So go ahead and try to activate your shoulder. And what you can see is he's having a hard time keeping his elbow down because of the tightness and weakness in his shoulder. And then as he activates that back and forth, go ahead, up and down 5 times, it should almost instantly start to loosen up. That doesn't mean the problem is instantly fixed, but it's the beginnings of a therapeutic approach to normalizing glenohumeral motion. Okay, and then can that ride any lower yet? Try to push it down. Okay, so you don't even manually want to assist it. You want it to ultimately be his own muscles performing the activity. So again, it takes sometimes a number of weeks before that'll happen. In the next segment, we're going to go to the lift, and I'm going to demonstrate some overhead lifts with another athlete and how they should properly be performed.